for people to see my reign as Miss Universe and to really connect to that theme of giving back and contributing to the community through the work of collaborating with organizations. It means so much to me because that's what I wanted to achieve this year. I wanted to bring out a message during my whole year that promoted positivity, that I always contributed and created awareness and educated. That's what made my year successful in my eyes. And I hope that people will remember me by that.
Magbigay.
Stepping into my next chapter after passing on the Miss Universe title, I had a very different outlook to what this year would look like. My vision board was filled with projects, travels, and pursuits, but 2020 took a different turn. I've come to realize that we have a tendency to place conditions on the right time to give. When I've achieved this or reached this certain point, then I'll finally get more involved with that charity or I'll finally be able to donate. But as 2020 unfolded, my conditions when it came to giving were challenged. The thought of giving during a season of lack was an uncomfortable one, but I quickly realized that through helping another, through my outreach programs or charity work, I was also helping myself.
Naniniwala akong hindi ako nag-iisa sa karanasang ito. Lahat tayo, ano man ang pinagdaanan natin, ay may mabuting natatanggap sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay. Maggabay.
We're all told to take every opportunity to better yourself, to grow, to learn, to gain for ourselves. A dream is always worth fighting for. A voice is always worth raising.
And I really truly believe that's placed in our hearts for a reason. So you need to have faith.
But at the end of the day, we're faced with the question, why? What for?
Na-realize ko na ang tanong na dapat nating sagutin ay, para kanino ba ito? Naniniwala ako na natatagpuan natin ang tunay na layunin sa buhay kapag ang pangsarili nating pangarap ay nagkakaroon ng kahulugan sa piling ng ating kapwa. Magpatuloy.
In lending our hands to help up our neighbors, so that their stories become our stories, so that by sharing their voices, we magnify our own, so that their plights become our plights, their victories become our victories, so that we close the gap between I and them to become we. As long as there remains to be injustice and inequality in the world, our job is never done.
Magbigay.
Because it's what makes it worth being human.
Maggabay.
Because it pays to share it forward.
Magpatuloy.
Because it doesn't end with us.
me, rain, rain, rain on me, rain, rain. I'd rather be drunk, but at least I'm alive. Rain on me.
Rain on
Ooh, hey. Rain on me. Hey, yeah. Hey. Living a world where no one's innocent. Oh, but at least we tried. Gotta live my truth, not keep it bottled in, so I don't lose my mind, baby. I feel it on my skin. It's coming down on me. Drops on my face. Water like misery. It's coming down on me. Let it wash away. At least I'm alive. Rain on me, baby. Rain on me, baby. I'd rather be drunk, but at least I'm alive. Rain on me, baby. Rain on me. Rain on me. Rain on me. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, hey, hey, rain on me. Hands to the sky, I'll be your galaxy, I'm about to fly. Rain on me, soon on me, hands to the sky. I'll be your galaxy, I'm about to fly. Rain on me, drop for at least I'm alive. Rain on me, rain on me, drop for at least I'm alive. Rain on me. Hey, I hear the thunder coming down. Won't you rain on me? Oh, 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 oh. I hear the thunder coming down. Won't you rain on me? Yeah.
rain on
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Love Yourself TV, The Universe Speaks, the pride in our millennials. My name is Catriona, and I am so ecstatic and happy to be here with you all tonight. But first off, from our homes, let's give a huge cyber applause to Zephanie for that awesome performance of Rain on Me. The lyric of "Gotta live my truth, not keep it bottled in" is so keenly relevant tonight as we talk about standing up, allyship, the LGBTQ plus community, pride, and how we can better serve our community. I want to also thank all of you who have joined us tonight and are watching. Hi, send us some love in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you because tonight our goal is to engage in conversation and to learn. So please do share this on your own personal platform so that more people can join in on the conversation. And also, while you're at it, please subscribe to Love Yourself TV on YouTube for more materials that are informative, supportive, and empowering. Tonight, our discussion is interactive, so leave your comments below. Towards the end of the program, I'll be answering some of your submitted questions, and 3 people whose questions are chosen will be gifted a hand-signed Miss Universe comp card from me, so make sure to share and comment below. So Pride Month is predominantly punctuated by rainbow flags and celebratory parades, but Pride began as a protest. In other words, we are fighting for something. And when I say we, I'm not just referring to the LGBTQ community itself, but also to all of the allies who are alongside the community, helping advocate and push further in our cause. To speak about what being an ally encompasses and the impact allies have, I'm joined by our young personality allies. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Casey Halili, doctor, mental health advocate, and fellow Love Yourself volunteer. Mansanori Takamoto, volleyball coach and future entrepreneur, and Nicole Cordovez, fellow queen, sister, and TV events host. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Hi. Happy Pride.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us here for this discussion. And I was really looking forward to this because I feel like usually when the discussion happens about LGBTQ community, there's this misconception that only members of the community itself care about what we're fighting for. So I would love to hear your thoughts. What is the importance of allies in the community?
The importance of allies is definitely our presence. Like, we are like testimonies that you don't have to be the same person, in order to be able to empathize. Because I feel like empathy has been given this criteria or qualification that you have to be able to experience it totally for you to be valid, to really empathize and fight for someone. But you know what? The resources are endless, and it is our duty to educate ourselves as well. And it's even more important now more than ever to really show that even if you're outside the community, you are there understanding, educating yourself, because we have seen how the privileges we enjoy today can be taken away so easily. Like, it's really, really fragile. So lahat tayo kailangan makiramdam talaga at talagang mag-empathize with each other.
Yeah, you raise a really good point about being empathetic to our fellow human being, our fellow LGBTQ community, because not all of us have the opportunity to experience someone very close to us who is a part of that community. However, Mansanori, your brother, how has your relationship with your brother shaped your allyship to the community?
My brother and I, we used to be not okay. So hindi ako masyadong open to his choice. And as we grow old, or as we grow up, I ventured out playing volleyball, and then now opening up a business, and then I became friends to members of the community. And then I realized that it hit me hard. I realized that how can I become friends and very supportive of other peoples from the community and not my brother? So then I adjusted. I made some adjustments with how I interact with my brother and how I show my support to him. And then eventually I felt that it took away his fear of being open to us, especially within the family. And just recently, he was able to introduce us to his partner, and it's really something, Parang I feel na it's our relationship improved. No, we were able to talk more and be more open to each other, and of course, bonding through the usual online gaming and such. And it extends to other things, no? Not limited to the family, because and now we're opening up a business. My business partners are one of them is a pansexual, a good friend from high school, and another is a plus size model who's also fighting for the same equality and rights. And we were talking about business strategy, and for us putting up a business and being an ally to the community is not limited to putting up rainbow banners, rainbow brands, but it should be not limited as a strategy or a business strategy, but it should be our responsibility. And at the same time, we want to show that that it's not limited as a strategy. We want to incorporate it with our operations. So we want to provide a safe space for the community, not only for the customers but also for the employees. So if we are to employ, we are open to employ, and then of course we should be enforcing rules such as no discrimination within the workplace. So that's it.
You raised so many good points, and those are the rights that we're fighting for, to have anti-discrimination laws, and just basic rights that all of us are afforded except for the community. And it's really what Pride is about. It's about fighting for equal rights, not special privileges. Dr. Casey, I know that you're a fellow volunteer at Love Yourself. Is there something, since through my volunteerism, I was really able to listen to stories, and it really made me steadfast in my allyship. Is there anything that you experienced as a volunteer, hearing stories of different individuals, that made you even more passionate about being an ally?
Okay, so firstly, I want to go back to the first question about how important it is for people outside the community to be an ally, because as we know, the LGBTQ community, it's still a minority, right? So we need people outside who are part of the majority to help speak up for them, because Pride, like what you said, Kat, it started as a movement, so we need people outside who can help propel the message louder. And I mean, I know it shouldn't be the case, but we have probably now have easier access to people who are in power to create the decisions that we need to change regulations and state laws, blah blah blah. So yeah, about volunteerism, well, I'm a doctor, and so personally, I've not just from volunteering but also from work. So I've always encountered personal experiences with patients who are transitioning or who are still closets, who are hiding. And while they are at it, they're already experiencing a lot of health issues. And I believe that's one of the things that made me more passionate about helping, especially also like when I see long-term couples who can't even decide for their partners of 10, 15 years because the law says they're not legally bound, to give those these legal medical rights. So these things I know probably are still in the works in the House or in Senate, or maybe, but we are hoping that eventually we will be able to have these in place for the LGBT community, because it's more than just love and self-expression, right? There's a big civil picture here that we must give them the way we are enjoying it. Tax exemptions for LGBT families who are having kids, like for example. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There's a lot of work that we need to do. And that's the great thing about Pride is we see how far we've come. We look how far we need to go. And there is so much to be explored and so much to learn and so much to act upon still for the community. Something that I would like for us to all discuss, I feel like in being an ally, we have to kind of humble ourselves down because we don't know the experience firsthand. And there is that given that we need to sit and we need to listen. And as Nicole said earlier, then we need to empathize. Could one of you maybe share a certain memory or a moment that really stood out to you that you had to kind of sit and listen and how it impacted you?
Masanori? I think Masanori can have
I
like
think
a really
Masanori,
good. I was super enchanted while you were telling the story kasi kanina. I want to know more.
yeah.
Well, there's this one, let's say during the stage that I was transitioning to being supportive as a brother, uh, uh, I felt that my brother back then was heartbroken, and since I don't really know what happened and all, but I was just trying to be there and then trying to listen and then trying to cheer him up. And then at the same time, being in the volleyball industry, I know a lot of uh, members of the community. So I try to, well, try to introduce him to my brother and then say, hey, this is my brother and this is orientation and something like that. And uh, but what really struck me the most there is I felt that I really need to be there for him because you know that as Doc Casey was mentioning earlier that there's a lot of uh, uh, members of the community who are hiding in the closet and getting sick out of it because they cannot open up, and I just felt that I need to be there for my brother because I don't want to lose a brother, and uh, uh, I want him to continue living and enjoying life. So I try to be more supportive, and then I felt and I believe that that was the turning point for me to have the full support for my brother.
Yeah, so it's really just about supporting for showing up, being there. Actually, I want to ask also Masanori. And I know we're making you talk a lot, but it really is such an interesting perspective. If there could be family members of the LGBTQ community watching us tonight, and seeing as you did go through that transition and opening up to your brother and really improving on that relationship there, is there something that you'd like to advise the family members who may be watching, and what positive impact could possibly lie in really working on their relationship with their loved one, even though they're from the LGBTQ community? Is there a piece of advice that you could give, or it could be the same advice you could give to your younger self before you reach this place?
Well, the only advice that I can tell them is just try to realize that you're missing a lot of things. Not being able to talk to your family member, not being able to bond with them, and it's really something else. I cannot really tell you how amazing the feeling was, but it parang na bunutan ka ng tinik, no? And it made things easier, no? Communicating with your family member, it's really fun. You learn a lot from them, as you learn a lot from people from the outside. So, and it's really, kumbaga, kayo lang din ang tutulungan sa huli, family members. So, just try to be open about it. Wala namang mawawala. And at the end of the day, pamilya mo pa rin yan, and they have their own choices. So, just support them at wala naman silang inaapakan na taong iba.
On a
It's
selfish
really
note,
admirable kasi parang you don't allow for the bridge to be burned.
yeah.
Kasi it's so easy to like just hand over the torch, and parang it's the most selfish act that you can do, not only to the other person but to yourself as well.
On a selfish note, I've had friends who came out to me, and those I've seen transition. I mean, I had friends na parang back in college pa lang, that they're really expressing themselves, but at that time, of course, they didn't have the finances, to actually go through the transition. And then now that they're young professionals, they saved up, and then the next thing, when I saw them again, they've completed their transition, and the happiness in them, it exudes out na parang ikaw din na parang, oh my God, like parang the energy that they give off, the happiness, the joy, it's different. So I hope that friends, families of those especially who are transitioning, I hope you could be there to support and experience the same joy that that these people will experience. So yeah.
Well, definitely. It's really, yeah, it is an amazing thing to witness. Doc Casey, like if there's something that we could do better as allies, even if you're a family member, a friend, to someone in the community and you're experiencing the transition or you're seeing them in their daily life, what can we as allies do better to help support the community, in your opinion?
Not as an ally or maybe even us as volunteers, Love Yourself. I know we have a project or a department that really deals with transitioning. I believe that we all have to educate ourselves, so that we can also offer educated advice for a safe transition for our family members or our friends who are in the process, right? Because they are so, I know these people are so eager, and everything that we see on the internet, they're not all legit. They're not all safe. So it's best that we do research also hand in hand with them, right? To give them advice also, para the decision is not entirely themselves on their own.
Yeah, I agree. Nicole, you work closely with a lot of the LGBTQIA community, of course, being in the entertainment industry. So could you pitch in also, what do you feel that we could do better as allies to serve the community?
This goes for everyone, actually. Like, I think we should be very, very open, whether or not you're in or out of the community. The challenge that I faced really was asking the hard questions. And I feel like sunerte lang tayo kasi ang dami nating kaibigan, mga mamas, mga besties, na we can easily ask them these questions. How do you feel? How was your journey? What was the process like? What can I do for you? And kasi feeling ko like over social media, if you're so out of the circle, parang you'll be scared to ask them kasi baka malambas ka for using like a wrong term. This is like a technical side of things lang, When in fact, social media should be like our bridge, di ba? Na mako-connect tayo at makakaintindi tayo lalo sa isa't isa. So, I think that let's create a culture of openness din, and don't cancel each other immediately, because even if I've been working with Red Whistle, Love Yourself for a while now, I wouldn't say I'm a professional at things. Actually, when there was a developing story recently nga na parang I had to research what internalized homophobia is, what cis is, yung CIS, akala ko cis, ganon. Iba pa pala yun. So, diba, parang but it's very important to Google, diba? So, and not everyone will do that. Like, take that extra step to like really Google and know about it. So, let's create lang this culture of openness na kahit na magkamali yung tao, wag natin i-push back kaagad. Instead, we can correct them constructively para they can ask more questions, and then we can share our stories more.
Yeah, it gives it an opportunity of growth, and because that's really what a lot of people I feel like have a lot of fear, because in speaking out, it's almost in taking a step into being vulnerable. And as an ally, there is a lot of learning curves that you kind of have to lean into, or kind of have to go, okay, wait, I didn't know that, but how do you ask the question? So like you said, it's finding safe spaces and allowing the people the opportunity to be wrong, because not everyone is a subject on the topic from the get-go. Everyone learns at their own pace, and we should afford people the opportunity to learn. I definitely agree. And that's why even my own journey as an ally has been one of many twists and turns, especially when you do have a platform like all of you do. And when we do raise our voice on a subject, or we do address the community, we do in all of our aspects want to be as correct as possible and as empathetic as possible. Is there a lesson that one of you may have learned in your journey as an ally that's really shaped where you want to go as an ally? Like, is there a certain area that you feel that you're really compelled to do, and how will you shape that space for yourself, whether it be in social media, whether it be in your career, like Masanori was saying, in his business?
Who's gonna go first?
Yeah.
Who goes first? KD. Lagi nagpa-pass na.
Ay, nakalata na ako. So, who's gonna go? Masanori? Sumunod na rin.
Voting tayo, voting.
All right. Well, anyway, I actually already shared some of it earlier. When it comes to the business, though, again, kumbaga, if we are to create our code of ethics, anti-discrimination should not be there. And sometimes people need details and need to be more. We need to be more explicit in the rules than we will be, and that is encompassing, no, from not limited to how we treat our customers, no, regardless of their orientation, if they are members or not members of the community, but also we should be open about it within the for our employees. The rules should apply to our employees, how they treat each other, and of course, in terms of hiring, in terms of development, there should be no discrimination. Everybody should have equal opportunity within the business, and that I believe that that is not limited as a PR strategy using the community to just promote the product in the business, but it is actually supporting the community and encouraging everyone to support and become an ally.
Yeah, actually,
I
when
think-
you were telling your story kanina, Masanori, parang it's very, like, you don't segregate people per industry or profession. Like, wala namang qualification of, like, your gender orientation, sexual orientation. So, and yun nga, being that, I feel like we're always surrounded by the LGBTQIA plus community, parang blurred na eh. We don't even segregate it anymore in our heads. It's like an automatic thing. So that's like our wish for the Philippines naman.
And I think especially for the cases of, like Nicole and Kat, those, like you said, because say you have a big platform, right? And if you say something, right, if you post something that supports the LGBTQ community, sometimes it offends the other groups, right? And I think what I really learned about the being an ally is talagang there's no you cannot, in beauty pageants, right? Sa Q&A natin, ang turo dyan is that you always have to be in the middle, right?
Yeah. Pero hindi na ngayon.
But now kailangan you have to take a stand, right? Either you're supportive, you're either all the way right or all the way left, right? Kasi parang if you're just maligamgam in the middle, then what do you really stand for? What are you actually contributing? So, so that's why I'm very proud
in this
of you being very vocal.
Yeah. In this pandemic nga kaya parang natitest na talaga for all sorts of freedom, di ba? So parang we really can't think of pleasing one side or the other side anymore, because now we have witnessed how fragile things are. So, but moving forward, I feel like we need to disseminate more information, because parang mas intentional pa yung content. I don't know how. Let's do a creative meeting soon, Char. Pero I feel like we're loud, diba? And pride has been loud in the recent years, but now we really have to have the roundtable discussion.
Yeah, and I think in relation to the pandemic, the lockdowns, we should also probably have another roundtable discussion. Kasi meron bang bagong mga issues that arose, with the community during this
Definitely,
time,
yeah.
right? Things we don't really
Exactly.
experience like during this time, as they're
Mm-mm.
more.
Yeah, like especially topics like domestic violence, those who may be housed with someone that they can't escape from. That those are examples of like what you just said, Casey, like that arise because of the pandemic. But I think we've touched on amazing points here in creating safe spaces. In as what Nicole and Casey was saying, don't just stand on the fence, because I feel like in this day and age there is a lot of uncertainty that you feel when you want to make a stand. But I feel like personally what I've done is I go back and I research and I learn and I try and fortify what I believe in, because that's the only way to do it. That's the only way that you strengthen your resolve and how you feel, is either by what you strongly feel for or by educating yourself and making up your mind about something. So for everyone watching, I really advise you to really explore the space that you have. And it might not have to be on social media. It could be in your workplace, your school. And so this brings me to my next point that I would like to ask anyone who's willing in the group. What have you personally done that you could give an example for those watching, that you feel has helped the LGBTQ community as an ally?
Well, I wanted to share one thing. I don't know if it made a big impact, because well, we're not so popular in the gaming space, but my brother and I usually play games online, and we have this image as Filipinos that we are so toxic when it comes to games. But
Ooh.
I what
I didn't know
what
that.
yeah. Well, what I was recently doing is trying to correct people who are using the word, let's say, gay as derogatory to other people.
Right.
Let's say,
Yeah.
Mhm.
kunwari takot sila, and then the other people will say, gay, bakla ka, ganyan. And
Yeah,
what
when
Kasi
they
yung
do
may
trash
chat
talk,
group sa online
right?
gaming.
yeah. So, well, what we are doing is we simply just call them out. No, na it's inappropriate.
Mm.
And if you want to call him out because he doesn't want to face the other team, then call him other things. No, but that is inappropriate. No, and so things like that. And it's a long way to go for the Filipino gaming community, but I hope things like this can make a difference for some.
Well, definitely. It just as you made an example of in your own space, in standing up, and it can be as simple as correcting someone or pointing out when they say something that is derogatory or offensive. Nicole, Casey, do you guys have an example in your workplace or on social media or in your space that you've helped out the community?
I think I have the same experience as Masanori. Like if someone judges my friends kaagad in the community, but I will tell their stories, not specifically naman, pero like give them a picture of what they actually go through. Like before you say that, can you please think and understand and feel first? Kasi it's so, bakit ang dali para sa'yo na magbitaw ng ganong salita? And I mean, we're not even really so different. I mean, we want the same things, you know. We're going for the same things in life, the same goals, and yeah, and siguro like sharing content on social media. Like there are a lot of yung mga short films then to help people like put you people outside the community put themselves in the community's shoes as well. So it's very important to share that, and I think that's a good way to plant seeds as well. But it's not so preachy, di ba?
So in other words, like appealing to their humanity or in humanizing the community. And I really agree. I feel like that's the foundation on which we all stand on. That's how we relate across culture, across language, or any other barriers that are put before us. Like we really need to humanize down to the core of what makes us human. And of course, as a fellow human being, you don't want another to go through suffering. So that's how we can connect. But thank you so much, everyone. We've raised amazing points, and I really feel that everyone watching has learned a lot. Thank you, Dr. Casey, Masanori, and Nicole. I really hope that, just everyone was able to be inspired in their own little way, because it really makes it a doable thing to be an ally by breaking it down to its simplicity, because it really is, and it's really achievable for everyone. So thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you. So everyone, that is the end of our first segment. Our guests will be returning later to join our group discussion. And at this point, I want to shout out to everyone who's watching, either from here in the Philippines or from wherever in the universe that you're watching from. We are sending you love. And at this point, don't forget to share this live if you haven't already, so that your friends and family could join in and learn with us. And also comment below. This is an interactive discussion, and we'll be collecting comments later to talk about and explore. And also, please follow Love Yourself and subscribe on their YouTube channel. And it's great to see that we have so many here with us tonight, especially during these times. We can feel isolated and alone, but to uplift our spirits, our Queenessu drag queens have prepared a message that everyone should hear. Let's watch this.
COVID-19 has placed the world with you at a standstill.
We've put our hands on hold, lived apart from our loved ones, and some have stayed isolated.
Our natural affection towards each other, our belongingness in a loving community, and our simple shared meals may feel like distant memories.
The safe spaces we've created for our community have become limited as well. Because of these circumstances, it may seem that the color and joy in our lives have slowly COVID-19 has placed the world with you at a standstill.
We've put our hands on hold, lived apart from our loved ones, and some have stayed isolated.
Our natural affection towards each other, our belongingness in a loving community, and even our simple shared meals may feel like distant memories.
A safe space.
Hey everyone, our apologies. We will replay that beautiful video later for you down the line in our segment list. But for now, let's talk to our LGBTQ plus community influencers who are constantly at the forefront in rallying our causes of the community. Please join me in welcoming content creators and innovative minds, Direk Rod Marmol. He's a director and best-selling author, Macoy Dubs, aka Macoy Dubs, HIV advocate and content creator, AG De La Paz, fitness coach, and Vinyas Deluxe, drag artist and vlogger. Everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here on Universe Speaks.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you.
So I know that you've prepared a special presentation for us. Direct Rod, could I ask you to kick it off?
Okay, sige. Magandang gabi sa lahat. Itong tula na i-share ko, ang title ito, ang pinakamalaking T. Mahilig daw kami sa T. Naisip ko, oo nga, mula pagkabata na puno ng T ang aming kwento. Ang unang T, timba. Isang timba ng malamig na tubig na pinagbanlawan ng labada kagabi. Ang sinisisid ko tuwing umaga. Sabi kasi ng mga tambay, ang spenang walang buntot pero may sungay, dapat lang na nilulunod sa mabangong sabon para mabawasan ang lansang mga lingasaw. Isa uling T, tadyak. Isang tadyak ang humalik sa akin nang magtapat ako sa kaibigang basketballista, magaling kasi tumambola. Natalbog ang puso ko bago sinipalpal ng paratang na nakadiri raw ako. At dapat lang malaman ng buong eskwelahan na gusto kong makatalik ang matalik na kaibigan. Isang talak ang natanggap namin ng aking kabiyak mula sa nakasalubong na aling putak ng putak. Grabe, maka-holding hands, parang mawalang takot sa Diyos. Diyos ko, nagpanting ang tenga ko. Sa normal na araw, 2 personalidad lang pinagpipilian ko, Rosemary ba ako o Rosario. Pero ngayong araw, parang biglang gustong kumawala ni Rosenda para sabihan yung alin na, excuse me, oo, ikaw ate, ikaw ating naka-pattern on pattern. O ikaw, di lang pala yung kilay nyo yung di pantay, no? Pati pala yung pagtingin nyo sa kapwa. Ang ganda sana eksena nun, kaso di ko nagawa. Malaki kasi talaga ang aking T. Ang takot. Ang takot na wala ring mapala. Na di naman talaga tatantanan ng mga T, ng mga tarantado, ang tadhana naming mga kakaiba tulad ng T, ng timang na namaril sa tose-tose ng bakla sa Florida, ng T, ng takaw libog na kano na pumatay kay Jennifer Laude, ng T, ng teenager fuckboy sa pumaslang sa barangay captain, ng kung sino-sino at kung ano-anong T, tukso, tawanan, torture, lahat na. Yan ang mga tunay na dahilan. Kaya napakarami pa rin nagsisiksikan sa kloseta ay di na makahinga, lumalabas lang. Sa madaling araw, kapag nakapikit na ang banal ng ina't ina, kikembot lang kapag tulog na, ang mapag-imbot ng mga kapitbahay, hahalik lang sa kapwa kapag humihilik na, ang mapanghusga. Sa Pilipinas, tanggap nga ang mga bakla, pero hindi bilang isang buong tao, hindi isa lang malaking T, malaking tanong, isang tanong na walang sagot. Ano ba talaga sila? Normal ba sila? Gawa ba sila ng Diyos, ng demonyo? Sino gumagawa sa kanila? Ba't ang dami-dami na nila? Dapat ba silang magpakasal? Dapat ba silang magmahal? Mga tanong na di handang bigyan ng patas sa sagot. Kaya di nilang tinatanong. Napakarami ng T ang aking natikman. Pero may isang T pa rin pinagnanasaan, dinadasal, inaabangan. Ang pinakamasarap na T. Tahanan. Pangarap ko maging tahanan rin ng mundo tulad nyo, isang tahanan kung saan walang hangganan ang posibilidad ng pagkatao, ng pangarap, ng pag-ibig, isang tahanan kung saan ang timba ay di ginagamit para lubluban ng batang malambot, isang tahanan kung saan ang pagtatapat sa minamahal ay di sinasagot ng tadyak sa ulo, kundi ng isang oo lang kung hindi, isang tahanan kung saan ang paghahawak kamay ng magkauri ay di tinatalakan kundi pinagbubunye, isang tahanan kung saan lahat ng nakatira ay buong puso rin pinagtatanggol ang karapatan ko dahil naniniwala sila ng kabawasan sa puso ng isa ay kabawasan sa puso ng lahat. Salamat. Happy Pride. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Direk Rod. What I love about this segment is we're giving examples of how we're expressing or using our innovation, our creativity to express views of the community. Macoy, I'd like to give you the opportunity now. I know that you've also organized or prepared something to share with us.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So this is just a short and sweet statement. Hello. Creating content online has been my passion 3 years ago. I was an OFW in Doha, Qatar. And after working there, umuwi ako dito sa Philippines. And dito ko nahanap ang aking one true love, which is making people happy online. It enables me to promote positive conversations and somehow normalizing talks or topic about mental health, because in 2015 I was diagnosed with mild depression, which is another term, dysthymia. But now I am healed, and thank you for making me heal. As a gay man, we can also spread awareness that even us should take care of our total well-being. In terms of challenges, they are quite a lot. One of them is dealing with negativity online. And as a gay man who wants to make the social universe light and happy, we want to make that shift. We want social media to be a safe space, to be a happy space to the LGBTQIA+ community and to our straight allies. And with that, we'll be able to have healthy conversations and content that brings you more fact and information. Thank you.
Thank you, Macoy. Well, this segment is very light and fun, and I'm so happy that you all joined us to really talk about how we can really utilize creativity to really shed a spotlight or to represent the community. We also have here AJ. And Vinyas, if you'd like to also introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is AJ. I'm so honored to be here. I'm just trying to collect myself. This is very, very emotional for me. The first segment just hit me. I'm still going through my transition. I'm actually gonna go for another surgery in the next 2 weeks. So I'm just very emotional. Thank you so much for having me. So honored.
We are so happy to have you here, AJ. Thank you so much. And we'll be praying for you through your operations and everything that you need to go through, that all goes through successfully.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. And Vinyas, aka Catriona Gray version 2. Vinyas, your mic, my love.
Hi, Catriona! Sorry.
Hi!
Buti naman nalaman mo na ikaw yung ginagaya ko tonight. Na-appreciate ko yun.
May ear cuff pa.
May ear cuffs tayo tonight, syempre. Para pasok magiging Catriona, di ba? So, ayun. So to me,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, please continue. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Okay. So to me, drag is like super fun because I can be whoever I want. Just like tonight, I can be Catriona, and I want to be. Minsan, we challenge the norms. Like ako, as a drag queen, I dress up like as an exaggerated version of being a woman, and it's not normal for others. But it screams a very political stand that people should not put anyone in a box. That anyone can be whoever they want to be, diba? As long as they're not hurting anyone. And drag is also a voice. So para sa mga hindi nakakaalam kung ano ang drag, it's also a voice of some of the LGBT members na hindi nila kayang mag-out. And I think I can give them kind of hope and representation of how life can be, possibly in living your truth and being proud of who you are. And so that's how I can like influence people.
Yes, exactly. And I love what you said about that, because it's really about taking up our position and where we're placed and really being able to influence from where we're at. And this is what I love, that you're all creatives. And I really resonate with that also, because creating is a unique brand of you. And it's putting yourself out there and seeing how people connect to that, because we all connect over shared experiences, over things we've been through. But with that being said, you're from a variety of different fields, each of you. Direct Rod, you're a writer and director. Macoy, you specialize in content creation online. AJ, lifestyle and fitness. And of course, Vinyas in drag artistry. I'd like to ask, what are some challenges that you have all faced in your respective fields, and how did you overcome them?
Siguro what I realized going through this entire journey, habang pinaglalaban natin yung LGBTQI plus rights, dapat din nating i-correct yung nag-strengthen nun, which is toxic masculinity. Kasi feeling ko, kunyari, kung nakaangat na yung toxic masculinity for so long, at nandito yung LGBTQ rights, kahit na anong pagtaas natin, kung solid siyang nasa taas, at hindi kine-question kung ba't siya nasa taas, may hirapan tayong humabol. So parang dapat sabay yung laban while we're advancing the rights of LGBTQ people. Questionin natin, dapat ba may inherent power ang lalaki dahil lalaki ka lang? Dapat ba may inherent power ka to decide what's moral, what's immoral dahil lalaki ka lang? So same na laban yun as na dapat i-strengthen din yung rights ng kababaihan. Kasi pag nagkaroon ng space for kababaihan, sila din yung magbibit-bet sa LGBTQ rights in that spotlight. So yung na-realize ko upon meeting so many people dito sa industry and seeing the different traits that strengthen these stereotypes and these limitations. Yun.
And I think you're in a great position, Direct, because you really are able to influence representation in film, in media. Do you feel that there's more that needs to be done in terms of representation here in the Philippines when it comes to our media platforms?
Always. Hanggat merong statement na bakla ako pero kailangan pa ng representation. Hanggat may statement na kailangan i-justify lagi kung bakit ka bakla, tomboy, transgender, kailangan natin ng more representation. Kailangan magpakilala ng iba't ibang uri ng bakla, ng tipo ng LGBTQ. Para makita nila na hindi ka talaga yun lang. Alam mo yun, your personality, ikaw ang history mo, ikaw ang lahat ng kaya mong gawin. Ayun.
Yes, and that's exactly reflecting what Vinyas just talked about not being secluded into a box. AJ, I'd love to invite you to contribute your story because I'm sure in lifestyle and especially fitness, there are some perceptions on what trainers or people in the industry should look like, should aspire to be. How did you overcome all of those things?
Yeah, yes, with my I am coaching kickboxing and boxing. I used to train full martial arts before, but I focus on coaching the kickboxing and boxing. In terms of my struggles, I was lucky enough to be masculine before even all the transition. So I was very fortunate to have that. My biggest struggle is the washrooms. So I was coaching and training at this gym before I changed all my documents. So according to my documents, I need to go and use the women's washroom, right? So basically, there's this one situation. I went to the women's washroom, and in the gym that I am coaching, it's all ages. There's little girls who are changing, and they were horrified when I went inside the washroom. They ran out to their parents and saying, "Mom, there's a man in the washroom," right? And obviously it causes more problem. There's a man in a little girl's washroom. That's a crime per se. So how I overcame the struggle is I legally changed my name, and fortunate enough to be here in Canada, I legally changed my gender. And from doing that, then I could go to the washroom that I belong.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because we hear recounts and experiences like that. And sometimes it's hard to imagine what the reality may be like to put yourself in those shoes. So thank you for sharing that. And I would love to ask you if there's a message you could give to people who are still very divided when it comes to restroom rights for the trans community. And Vinyas, if you'd like to also pitch in here from experience that you may have, what's your message to them? Like what do you feel needs to be done, or what needs to be communicated to further that conversation and to further people's understanding?
You could go first.
Sorry, paulit.
Okay. No, I'm just asking, have you had any experiences similar to AJ? And if you had, when it comes to restroom usage, something that's very basic, a basic thing that all of us do whenever we go out of the house, and yet for many in the community, it results in feeling unsafe or just very torn of what to do. Is there anything you could suggest to people who still don't see that side, whether it be about how it feels or what needs to be done to further accept it?
I think people should be maturuan kung what should be the right reaction if they see people who comes inside of the restroom. Kasi before, I also have the parang takot-ako na pumasok sa public restrooms because of the judgment. So ayun, and I think if you're in the right place to do things and right people na nasa loob nun, they will know how to react if you go inside. And parang katulad nun, paano ba maging right people kapag nandoon ka? Dapat educated ka. So I think kapag naturuan yung mga tao na this is what you should do if may mga gantong tao na pumasok na different identity or sexuality man, they should respect. No, yun yung pinakauna natin dapat matutunan yung respect sa other people kahit ano man sila or ano man yung state or yung preference nila in life, di ba?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Does anyone have anything to add on to that before I jump on to another question?
Yeah, I think it's mostly I think what Vinya said. It's mostly educating people. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I'm here in Canada. I'm not really sure what the situation there is in terms of washrooms. I would like to share here that most restaurants have just no gender. Really, it's like it's washrooms for everyone because everyone needs to use the washroom, right? It's not. We're not asking for special privileges. We just want to pee or whatever we want to do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think it's just hopefully in the Philippines, it will be the same. Doesn't necessarily. I'm not asking, or we're not asking for anything special. We just want to be treated equal.
Exactly. You hit the hammer on the nail on the head. It's really about we want equality. We're not asking for special rights, special privileges to be better, but we just want to exercise and experience the same equality as everyone else does. Thank you so much for raising that. Macoy, I'd like to jump to you. Some people see social media as a very intimidating place. But how, for you, how does creating content online enable you to rally for the causes of the community?
I think with that regard, in terms of creating content online, maybe normalizing conversations of being openly gay, that they should also acknowledge and accept that there are effeminate gays, because I'm really vocal about it as well. And I'm an effeminate gay, and that really resonates with my content. So being able as well to normalize terms, like for example, when I call you sis or momsh, ganyan. But what I'm also trying to explain then when I create content is that normalizing the terms of sis or momsh, pero at the same time I'm happy because slowly people or straight people are accepting it, na hindi na sila na-offend if tawagin silang sis or momsh. And sometimes nagugulat ako because there are straight males na may anak na mismo, may wife na sila, and then tatawagin nila akong sis or momsh. And for me, nakakatuwa because nagiging normal siya without any offense, di ba? So parang I think the terms such as sis, Mars, or momsh can be a gender fluid term of endearment, and I think that's a positive one. And also just to add na parang being more acknowledgeable that there are effeminate gays, that gays are different as well. I mean, there are a lot of different types of gays, effeminate gays, out, ganyan. And yeah, because sometimes I get comments saying na, ay yan pala siya, baklang bakla. So parang ganon. And it's more of bringing down the negativity that there's nothing wrong, there's nothing negative with being baklang bakla or being more flamboyant. Actually, mas happy nga siya, well, for myself. So, yeah, I mean, more happy content with that part.
Yeah, and it's great that you're giving that space online. As I said earlier, like even for me, sometimes social media can be quite a battlefield, no? With the positivity, there's a lot of negativity. So I really admire that you're using your space online to really make it safe, to be an expressive space for people to learn in a very lighthearted way, because not all of everything that we're fighting for needs to be a big push. Sometimes it's just a suggestion or just inviting someone in to listen to your story. Direct Rod, I would like to give this question to you. Because you're a director and you allow people to experience a point of view or a story, how has being a director allowed you to influence to a varied audience to see better view and representation of the community?
marami siyang benefits. I mean, ang immediate kasi naisip lagi, magkwento ng kwento tungkol sa LGBTQ. Pero minsan, nakakalimutan din na gumamit ng mga kwento, hindi ng tulong sa mga ito, that you really use them to tell the stories. You employ them, you collaborate with them, para yung pag-empower both ends, sa likod at sa harap ng camera. So yun yung magandang pwede rin i-pursue ng mga tao.
Yeah, it's really an empowerment then, because it's one thing to show support and another thing to really support within your space, within your workplace, in your family, in your household. You raise a really good point. I would love to know, because all of us being creatives here, is having a creative space. It is quite a liberating thing, but has there been any fear associated with wanting to express a point of view in either a spoken piece or in an online article or even in a performance? And how did you kind of come to terms with overcoming that fear? Because we might have people watching us today that may have fears of their own, and they may be creatives and they want to put out something unique to them, but they just don't know how to overcome that fear. Could anyone here give a little bit of advice?
Ako share ko, may article ako dahil sa Inquirer about same-sex marriage na sana magkaroon na nga dito noon. Ang dami ng away sa akin, especially yung mga hindi ko kapalanan, pero yung mga wala. Pero what I realized is after all the hurtful words, those are just words. Alam mo yun, na parang kung kaya nila akong batuhan ng words, I can confidently say na I have more power over words as a writer. So hindi niyo ako pwedeng patahimikin ng salita because that's my tool, that's my sword. So ang gusto kong advice sa lahat ng mga artists, whatever your platform is, whether you're a musician, a dancer, ikaw ang authority dyan. As long as alam mo na tama yung pinaglalaban mo, never let anyone use that same platform to silence you.
Yes, I love that. Never let anyone use the same platform to silence you, because you are given that gift. That is your authority. That is your space that you can take up. Thank you so much for that, Derek. I really, really agree with that. Binyas, how about as a performer? Have you also overcome your own fears also? And do you have any advice?
So ngayon kasi, alam mo yun, parang nag-struggle ako as a drag queen dahil wala kaming physical clubs na pwedeng pag-perform ngayon dahil nga sa COVID. Pero alam mo yun, kayang-kaya mong humanap ng platform kung saan ka pwedeng mag-perform and mag-express pa. Dahil kung gusto mo, merong paraan talaga kung saan mo gustong ilabas, kung ano yung gusto mong iparating sa mga nanonood sa'yo. Yeah.
I love that, because with everything that's available to us, we all have platforms, even if it's not on social media, diba? It can be in our homes, or, well, practically in our homes, because most of us are at home. But if you're working also in your workplace, AJ, I would like to also open up that question to you, especially that you work with a lot of different clients in a lot of different situations. How do you overcome fear of what perhaps people may perceive of you, or what they may think, or anything associated with that? How do you overcome that fear?
With me, I think with my journey, it's all about finding my own acceptance and love towards myself. That was always been my struggle. And when I finally, I mean, it's still a journey, right? There's no perfection, it's progression. But when I finally find the strength to say I am worthy, I just thrive, and I just show myself to the world that I am capable of coaching. I have a lot of things to offer to you, and just basically be myself and be out there. That's the biggest struggle, is to overcoming that self-love and self-acceptance.
Yeah, that's the foundation on which we build everything that comes from us. Thank you so much for raising that. Macoy, I'd like to ask you the same question. Any young creators could be watching right now. Do you have any advice for them in overcoming their fear and putting out something creative into the world?
Of course, since a lot of, there's a lot of going on right now, and we are in this kind of situation wherein sometimes we feel na parang we are inside the box, na we are here inside the room na nakakulong. Pero I think my advice with the young creatives out there is that maybe you will experience some writer's block, but that's fine. Just acknowledge that you are experiencing that, because I myself, madalas din mangyari sa akin yung writer's block. Like, parang wala akong naiisip na content na ilabas. But that's fine, because just take a break. Well, alam natin hindi tayo makakalabas, pero just find some time to relax, contemplate. That's very important. And then definitely when you're about and ready, then definitely you can create your own piece na. Don't be afraid as well to voice out your opinions, most especially if you think that is the truth, because yung truth naman, of course, if you know that you are siding with the truth, and if you feel that people will agree, then go ahead. Just don't be afraid.
Thank you so much for that. It at first, it really does seem scary, but you equip yourself with accepting and loving yourself. As AJ said, you equip yourself with knowing what your strength is, as Direct Rod pointed out, knowing what tools you've been given to really make strides within that space. And then you really just go out there, because art is something that not everyone will praise, but if you can connect to just a few. And that's what it's all about. That's what makes the difference. That's how victories are won, by small bits at a time. I've had so much learning talking to you guys. Thank you so, so much. And I really hope that those who are watching, they really feel inspired to overcome their fears, that they feel represented in the work that you're putting out there. And yeah, just thank you so, so much. Thank you. Thanks, Direct Rod, Macoy, AJ, and Vinyas. That wraps up our second segment. Thank you so much. I don't know about you guys, but I am learning so much from our discussions. And I hope that you guys are really discussing your thoughts and feelings down in the comment section. But before we welcome our next guest, let's listen first to some community members who have been inspired by an ally. Let's all watch this.
Nung bata ako, lagi may tumatawag sa akin ng bakla! Bakla! Bakla. Hanggang ngayon nga, sasabihan ka ng sayang ka, matalino ka pa naman. Sayang yung lahi mo pero lalamya-lamya ka.
Pag nalaman na ako'y isang lesbiana, automatic na sabihin, tumboy ka, sayang naman ganda mo. Siguro ayaw mo lang magkaanak. Or sa lalaki ka rin babagsak. Pag butch naman, ang lagi nilang tinatanong, asan yung motor mo?
Kapag bi ka, sabihin nila, edi tomboy ka. Or kapag bi ka, sabihin nila, edi pwede ka sa tatluhan. Or kapag bi man ka naman, sabihin nila, bye now, gay later.
Kung trans ka naman, bubulong at sasabihin, may itlog pa rin yan, lalaki pa rin yan, chick silog, may lawit.
Marahil natatawa ka sa mga naririnig mo. Marami pa niyan. Ngunit ito ang pangkaraniwang natampulan ng usapan kapag tungkol sa aming mga miyembro ng LGBTQA community. Pero alam mo ba na ang simpleng kaligayahan mo ay minsan ang pagkasira ng aming kaloob?
Kahit isang batang LGBT nararanasan ito. Masakit sa puso na malaman na ang isang bata ay walang masandalan, matakbuhan, o makausap man lang. Kahit pamilya niya hindi niya malapitan dahil lang sa kanyang kasarian.
Nagsisimula sa sarili ang pagtanggap. Pero kung walang nais tumanggap sa pagkatao mo, lalo pa sa mga inaasahan mong tatanggap sa'yo, napakahirap nitong gawin.
Yung mga nakapaligid sa'yo,
Imbis na pinupuno ka ng pagmamahal, kadalasan, takot, pagkamuhi, at pangamba ang pinupunan.
Mahirap ito, lalo na kung bata ka pa. Nadadala mo to hanggang pagtanda. Ngunit hindi natin sila masisisi. Maraming miyembro ng LGBTQI community ang may dala nitong takot, pagkamuhi, at pangambang naipon simula ng bata pa sila.
Minsan, nasasalamin ito sa komunidad natin. Nagkakaroon tayo ng iba't ibang hidwaan, pagkakawatak-watak, at hindi pagkakaunawaan. Kaya hindi dapat natin binabaliwala ang pagkakataon na pwede natin itong mabago bilang isang komunidad.
Gawin natin ito para tayo maging isang buong lipunan. Lipunang may pag-uunawa at lipunang buo at may pagmamahal sa isa't isa.
Kaya kahit sabihin pa ng ilan na mali ang same-sex relationship, mali ang maging bakla, mali ang maging lesbian, mali ang maging transgender, kahit kailan, hindi mali ang maging totoo. Hindi mali ang maging tayo. Ikaw.
Tama. Hindi kailanman naging mali ang pagiging totoo sa ating mga sarili. Hindi na sapat na magparaya lang tayo. Dahil yung pagtanggap natin sa kanila, yan ang magdadala sa atin sa mas malayang pamumuhay. Dahil kasama natin sila at kailanman hindi naging kalaban sa buhay.
2020 na. Nagbabago ang panahon. Bilang kaibigan, pamilya, o sabihin na lang natin bilang tao, kailangan tanggapin natin ng buong buo na ang LGBTQIA+ people exist. Kailangan nila ng suporta natin dahil karapat dapat sila sa kaligayahan, pagkilala, at pagmamahal ng buong buo.
Simulan natin ito sa ating mga kapatid. Tayo mga magulang ang kanilang magiging unang sandalan. Tayo ang magsisilbing gabay upang mas makilala nila ang kanilang mga sarili.
Dahil ang pagiging tao ay hindi kailanman dapat tinitignan sa kung anong dala mong yaman, lahi o paniniwala. Hindi ito matitimbang sa iyong kasarian o kung sino gusto mong mahalin. Masusukat ang pagkatao mo sa kulay at ganda ng laman ng iyong puso.
Happy Pride!
Happy Pride!
Happy Pride! Happy Pride!
Happy Pride to everyone. And of course, happy Pride to everyone who is tuned in with us this evening. Thank you so much for spending your evening here with us at The Universe Speaks, the Pride in the Millennials. If you haven't already, I'd love to invite you to please share this live so that your friends could also join in on the conversation. Comment below because this discussion is an open one. We'll be choosing comments later to answer. And also subscribe to the Love Yourself YouTube channel. So I've really enjoyed this segment so far. I've learned what it means to be an ally, what it means to be a representative of the community itself, but also another thing that is especially important to pushing for the rights that we want to realize for our community is in leadership. To steer our community towards a more accepting one, we need leaders to drive better change. Many Filipino youths nowadays are leading us to our shared goal for equality, and I am honored to share the same stage with these young and bright minds. Please help me in welcoming Carl Uba of One Spark of the University of the Philippines, Riyan Portuguez, your millennial psychologist, and Gretchen Ho. TV and events host, and the woman in action. Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
Happy Pride! Hello! Happy Pride! Happy Pride!
Yes, happy Pride. Thank you so much for all being here. We got the flags, we got the energy. It's really such a pleasure to be able to listen to what you guys have got to say this evening. As a starting off point, I would love to know from each of you, what actions do you feel that you've been able to achieve as a leader that really allowed you to help fight inequality amid the stigma that is affecting the LGBTQIA plus community? Carl, could I start with you?
Hello, Ms. Catriona, and to our viewers. As mentioned earlier, I'm one of the co-founders of the youth organization One Spark Youth Leaders. And what we did recently, actually, last Saturday, June 27, we organized a digital forum in addressing the plights of our LGBT plus community. No, one of our partners actually is Yourself Inc. That's why we were able to connect with them, and we invited panelists, including Justin Dizon, Jem Celestial, Bella Rivera, and Percival Sindana. And actually, one of our panelists was one of those who has unfortunately been arrested during the Pride protest that happened last Friday, Miss Ray Valmores Salinas. And just a segue information, nakalaya na po ang Pride 20. Fresh na news. So isa pong malaking dako ito ngayong araw. And yun, speaking of the discussion that we had back in last Saturday, we understood more about the plight na na-experience ng ating mga kasama mula sa ating LGBT community. At mas natutunan natin yung mga pinagdadaanan nila, mas natutunan natin na more on a legal basis as well as in a more personal matter kung ano nga ba yung tunguhin, ano yung kasalukuyang pinagdadaanan ng ating community. And with that, we learned now as youth leaders, we should amplify their calls, and we should stand with them.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I'd actually like to just feed off of that if I could. And Gretchen and Riyan, please feel free to jump in whenever you feel like it. But because you, Carl, are constantly in communication with the youth sector, is there a resounding question or plight or challenge that keeps arising that we as a community need to address that is coming up in the youth?
Well, with the youth sector, I think it's still a challenge. It's still a question of acceptance within the community. Gaya nga na nasabi ng ating mga nagdumaan ng panelists, there's still a culture of homophobia going on. And as youth, it is our role, it is our responsibility again to amplify these calls, and in a more legal matter to push for the SOGI bill, and in a more personal matter to understand where they are coming from.
Yeah, I really want to emphasize the fact that it is such a multi-sectional problem. It's not just legal, it's not just community-based, it's not just personal, it's an intersection of all of these different things. Riyan, would you like to kind of jump onto that topic, since you are a psychologist and you've had the opportunity to converse with a lot of people in and out of the community? Is there something that you'd like to speak on that?
Well, as I observed, no, based on dun sa schools, for example, sa schools since youth yan, usually mga schools yung involve. Yes, may mga issues tayo when it comes to policies ng mga eskwelahan, but I think there is progress when it comes to policies. Like for example, I'm one of the speakers on SOGI workshop na nakonduct dun sa Cebu noong Feb 2020 lang. So all of those institutions that attended, usually sila yung nasa parang Roman Catholic institutions. And I've seen yung change or yung progress when it comes to yung the way they view yung LGBTQs. Kasi yung usually, kapag nag-a-ask sila ng questions about LGBT, medyo na-equate nila at nag-a-appear yung homophobic or transphobic na na mga statements. Pero hindi. Progressive na yung mga questions ngayon ng mga nuns and ng mga priests. Like, how can we help
to how can we help na ma-promote yung LGBTs or yung paano sila hindi maging homophobic, for example, in addressing this kind of problem, etc., etc. And then kung paano mababago yung policy nila sa school nila, ganon. So sobrang amazing lang kasi there is progress na sa eskwelahan, pero little by little lang siya. Hindi siya overnight na mag-change, pero at least meron na tayong nakikitang change. Actually, 3 summit 'yon, sa Davao, sa Cebu, and sa Manila. And kasama ko doon yung LGBT Psychology Special Interest Group from Psychological Association of the Philippines. So yon, meron ng great strides din kahit papaano doon sa movement natin. Ayan. And siguro, I think, gusto ko lang din na ma-emphasize na hopefully, yung mga schools magkaroon din sila ng way to incorporate SOGI discussion kahit sa elementary level so that students are more aware about their sexuality kasi it's normal based on psychological science and scientific evidence. It's healthy variant of human sexuality. So there's really nothing wrong. It's valid. So yun yung talagang pinopromote din namin at ini-inform sa public. Kaya every now and then kapag may mga issues about yung transphobic statements, kami mismo sa PEP LGBT Special Interest Group, nagpa-partner kami with other divisions, clinical division and other division to create position statements based on psychological science and scientific evidence para ma-reaffirm yung mga naapektuhan ng mga ganong klaseng homophobic and transphobic statements. So that's yun yung mga issue ginagawa namin. Ayan.
That's great that you also emphasize like the great achievements or the strides that we're having within the advocacy, because a lot of the time the focus is put on how far we need to go and what we're lacking and what we're seemingly failing at. So thank you for highlighting the good and the hopeful, especially when it comes to education and in youth, because it could help so many just navigate that period in their life where so many before them and the generations before them were kind of left in the dark to really navigate that unsupported. So thank you for highlighting that. Gretchen, I know that you really love to utilize your platform in communication. Is there something that a message that you'd like to share in how do you envision a diverse and accepting society, especially when it comes to the youth?
For me, my context is I come from a very conservative background. Chinese, Catholic, all-girls school. But I've been immersed in a sport that has welcomed members from the LGBTQ community. And I've been teammates with them. And I've learned so much from just interacting with them, talking with them, and being very close to them. And not just in the sports industry, but also in the showbiz industry. Maraming tumutulong sa atin na mga makeup artists natin, yung mga producers natin, it's just everywhere. And for me, my mission has been to break gender stereotypes in sports. As a woman in action, I mean, like me being in a sport that is, in a world that is dominated by men mostly. Like, for example, when I go into sports casting in basketball, as a female, I also feel that I'm discriminated upon. I mean, it's not just the LGBTQ community, but also me as a female. Meron din ako nararamdaman na ganon. So, mission ko, just by being there in the field itself and doing things that are contrary to expectations, I feel like I'm breaking what people think that a woman should do, and hopefully that does the same for our LGBTQ family. And for me also, I'm trying to use my platform on TV, on digital, to amplify stories of members from the LGBTQ community and what they can do in terms of like talents, in terms of sports, in terms of their unique offerings to the world. Yun ang platform ko. And also I've also featured a story about mental health issues that they're going through, and the depression and the pressure that comes with it. So just me, going out there and exploring. And my vision is that we have a world where we don't we don't look at somebody just because of his or her gender, but because of that person's talent, what that person can
Yeah.
do. 'Di ba? Parang we were all unique, we're all special in our own right. So for me, yun ang gusto kong mangyari. And I try to go to the stories that have less attention and less exposure.
So you really give the spotlight
Yun.
and give the opportunity for their stories to be shared, because as we were discussing in earlier groups, and also that you mentioned here, it's really how we connect. And it even took, like me also, I wasn't aware of the LGBTQ community until I was well into my adulthood, and it was really in being friends with those from the community that I started to understand what life is like for them, and that's why I became a passionate ally. So I really resonate with what you're saying about really allowing that to be what you build your kind of mission on, is in really allowing them to take up space and to bring what they have to the table, and not allowing what they are, who they are, be the ticket that is able to get them in. It shouldn't be that. It should be what they're able to offer. So thank you for raising that. Riyan, I would like to just touch on what Gretchen was saying about mental health issues that face the youth. We may have viewers here that may know someone who's maybe going through mental health issues, or a family member. Could you give us a small step through of like how we could navigate those first conversations, whether it be a friend or a family member? How do we be supportive, or how do we open up that conversation without saying the wrong things or navigating it wrong? Do you have any advice?
Well, for those people, you just have to build that trust to someone. So yung trust na yan, it's something that you need to work on, no? It takes time. Especially if it's related to LGBTs, it's really difficult for them na meron na silang mental health problem. Added pa dyan yung fact na meron silang issues on coming out. So sobra yung problem na yon. So may mental health problem, for example, tapos kung kunwari meron pa silang issues on coming out. So medyo mahirap sa kanila yon. So you have to build that trust, create a safe space for them. So it's okay to initiate conversations such as how are you? Ganyan. Or maybe mas maganda na may action tayo, like are you free sa ganito? Pwede ba tayong mag-usap? Kasi yung kakasabihin mo na parang kamusta ka na? Kasi madali lang magsabi ng okay lang ako. So be active lang din sa pag-initiate ng conversation. Do you have time ba na mag-usap tayo? Ganyan. Kasi I noticed, i-describe yung situation because I noticed this past few days, blah, blah, blah. So i-open up mo yung nanonotice mo sa kanya para maramdaman niya na na-feel mo or nanonotice mo yung difference ng kung ano mang behavior na nakikita mo sa kanya. And yun, if ever na ayaw niya pa rin magsalita, let or people na nagiging resistant sila at first kasi nga natatakot sila magsabi or hindi pa sila ready. So it's okay din na wag din natin silang i-force. So yung trust sobrang important doon, and also you should be aware with yourself din kung paano ka nakikitungo, for example, sa ibang tao, tsaka lalo na sa kanya. Kasi minsan nahirapan silang mag-come out if ever meron silang na-observe sa'yo na particular behavior na mukhang parang judgmental. Kaya parang minsan umiiwas din sila. So be mindful with your with the way you interact with other people. So basta yon, you have to build that safe space. Kapag may safe space na yan, may trust yan, it's easier for them na mag-come out at magsabi ng problem nila. Basta don't wait na sila yung lalapit sa'yo. It's better na ikaw din yung lumapit kasi mahirap mag-come out.
Yes, you raised such good points, especially about creating a safe space, and that finds its foundation in relationship. Carl, I'd like to ask you, since you're a student leader, what can we do to better make safe spaces within the school community?
Well, as a student leader, you have to first recognize that you are representing the whole student body. You are representing everyone, and that includes the LGBTQ community. And speaking of the community, what can we do as student leaders? First, what we can do is to encourage them to organize themselves. No, iba yung comfort when you know you are with the people na kapareho mo ng ipinaglalaban, na isang space na kung saan very comfortable ka to share your everyday experiences. We become more when we are more. No, let's be
Mm.
organized. Next, let us collaborate with the school administration, no, in making sure that our institution is a safe space for the community. Actually, ang bait pa nga nung term ng collaborate. In a, I guess, more radical context, we have to pressure them up, no? Gaya na nasabi kanina ni Riyan, maganda na may push, no, ang mga SUGI discussions sa ating mga institutions. At kung ayaw i-push ng ating gobyerno ang SUGI bill, maybe we could push for localized SUGI bills inside our institutions. No, so in that we could be able to amplify the voice of the community. Third, and I think one of the most important thing, we should hold the oppressors accountable. It is a sad truth na meron tayo sa ating mismo mga institutions, sa ating mga kaklase, or sadly even mga teachers. They are part of the culture of homophobia. Now, what we could do is to stand with these with our community, with the community, in pushing for petitions, in pag lumalapit tayo sa ating mga counselors, we should stand with them. Next, in a more personal context, as an ally, as a student leader, we should not view ourselves as a messiah. We should not practice this messianic complex na we are working for the community. Rather, we should practice that we are working with the community. We should integrate ourselves with them. We should educate ourselves more about their state. Speaking of last point, naniniwala ako na before you become an ally, you should be a friend. No? When you are an ally, for me, naiintindihan mo yung konteksto, naiintindihan mo yung mga ipinaglalaban nila. But when you are a friend to them, naiintindihan mo yung nararamdaman nila, naiintindihan mo yung emosyon nila. So before you become an ally, as a student leader, as a student, or even as a youth, I'm inviting everyone to be a friend, with them. That's for me.
I really, really, really appreciate that you rose that point, because it sounds so simple, no, but it really is that simple. It's in really allowing us to see eye to eye and to empathize with what they're going through, with what they feel. Just going off of what we're speaking about, safe spaces, Gretchen, in utilizing your platform, how can we make safe spaces online or in our workplace?
How can we make safe spaces? I think just by respecting our LGBTQ community, their voice in whatever platform, and not discriminating upon them because they're part of the community, diba? I think that's one way. And for me, I think marami rin kasi marami na akong kaibigan na nag-out sa akin. And I think it's a matter of like making them feel that you respect them no matter what, and you treat them the same, and it doesn't change your perception of them. And by listening to them, giving them, a shoulder to cry on, and just somebody to lean on, and make them feel na they're not any less of a person because. And I say this because yun nga yung background ko, being Catholic, being part of the Chinese community. I also have friends na Christian, and nakita ko yung struggle nila na pinipilit sila to be somebody else that they're not, and seeing them also being so happy, being so free, just by admitting to themselves that this is who I am. Just being able to bridge that to the people who are a bit close-minded, and making them see the other side, and making them feel na ito yung pinanggagalingan nila, kailangan maintindihan ninyo. So yun ang mission ko, yun ang gusto ko, ginagawa ko, may it be on social media, may it be in real life.
No, thank you for that. And I just want to take the opportunity to really thank you guys, because really when it comes to the youth, there's so many different discussions that constantly arise, but it really makes a difference having leaders that the youth can look up to, and that fellow leaders or fellow people can also look to for inspiration or for guidance or for learning. So thank you so much for utilizing the spaces that you have to really be of that good influence, for being that bridge, for being that friend, for being that humanizing aspect when it comes to the community, because that's what we all are. We're all people, and we all just want to be able to have everyone on an equal basis where we all exercise and enjoy the same rights. So thank you, Gretchen, Carl, and Riyan, for your time. We'll be seeing you guys a little bit later. And that wraps up our third segment. Thank you so much.
You too.
Thank you. The Universe Speaks, the Pride in Millennials wouldn't be possible if not for my Love Yourself family. Discussions like this enable us to learn and be connected, even if we are limited due to the limitations of the COVID pandemic. But even though these times are trying, it has presented a multitude of problems. Love Yourself has turned this challenge into an opportunity, and that is to continue helping the HIV community. Let's watch this video to learn more.
Learning from our almost 10 years of experience in combating HIV and AIDS in the Philippines, the reduced mobility and the stringent community quarantine measures in the face of COVID-19 did not stop us from delivering HIV-related services to our clients. These learnings include working closely with stakeholders, learning from the experience of other groups, maximizing our resources and capacity to improve our services and to innovate programs, among others. So we didn't have to start from scratch. We only needed to modify our existing services based on the situation and on the community's expressed needs.
We established Express by Love Yourself. This is to address the limited mobility of our PLHIV clients who are accessing treatment. So we ensure that we will be able to deliver the medicines that they need as a life-saving medication for them. Speaking of limited mobility, we also established Icon by Love Yourself, which is a interactive consultation done online by our nurses and doctors. They just have to sign up online, and a nurse will triage for their services, and if they need a consultation, they will be referred to a physician. To address the needs of HIV screening, especially during this time of COVID, we established self-care, which is the first unassisted HIV self-screening in the Philippines. What we did with self-care is that they will be assisted via a chatbot system developed by our volunteers and our staff, so that they will be ensured that they will be guided with their HIV screening process and to guide them whatever result they receive, whether they are HIV non-reactive or reactive. Speaking of the reactive clients for self-care, what we did is we established Access by Love Yourself. This is an ambulatory service for our clients so that they will be able to access HIV confirmatory testing during this time that there is limited mobility. Before doing these interventions, we had to understand our clients' experiences through active and continuous consultations. We always welcome the feedback from staff and volunteers, as well as the greater community that get in touch with us on social media for their inquiries and recommendations. We also highly emphasize the importance of our volunteers because they are our heart and soul in Love Yourself. We will not exist without them. We have also been working with the local government units and partner community-based organizations through the Champion Community Center Network in battling the pandemics. both HIV and COVID. We always share resources and capacity building and help out other community-based organizations to replicate all of the services.
Healthcare service providers in HIV advocacy to keep fighting. While the responsibility is huge, it is important to always ensure our clients' safety and well-being. Government support is also imperative. Duty bearers should contribute further to an enabling environment that would help providers like us to serve all key HIV populations, especially sectors who are most vulnerable during this time of pandemic.
Welcome back, everyone, to Universe Speaks. Now, we owe the Love Yourself we know today to this very special person who is my next guest. Together with our fellow volunteers and advocates, he laid the foundation of the organization that it was built to be what it is today. Join me in welcoming Love Yourself founder and executive director, Ranvin Pagtakhan, and his baby.
Hi, Mars! I'm
Mars!
sorry, I was supposed to put her down, but she's barking.
Okay lang, may special guest naman. I'm so happy that we were able to have this opportunity, Mama Vin, because of course, it's important for us not to shift our focus and our eyes away from HIV in the Philippines. And of course, with everything with COVID and the pandemic happening, I am so proud to be a part of the Love Yourself family because I see how hard you guys are working despite everything that's going on. That you continue your dedication to all of your clients. In whatever way that you have to do, you overcome all the challenges. And so I want to take this moment to really acknowledge that and honor you along with the whole Love Yourself family. And of course, seeing that COVID is a virus, much like HIV, what lessons can we learn from HIV to apply to COVID as it's happening now?
Well, thank you for that one. No, seriously. Hi, Mars! Long time no see.
I know!
Diba? Pero, alam mo, last chikahan natin, we were just talking about this, di ba? And it was really challenging for us because we had a different set of problems when we had the COVID issue. Kasi, number one is the mobility. As in, normally clients go to our centers. We have 7,100 clients and clients need to go there to pick up their meds. And suddenly, wala. For checkups, people see doctors for their checkups, pero wala rin. And also, since COVID is respiratory related and 10% of our clients have tuberculosis. And so, parang it's really hard kasi what we did is that, di ba, we check for TB, pero we can't check for COVID. And sometimes, and since pareho sila ng signs and symptoms, it's really hard for us to send and bring clients to our center. So, yun talaga yung problems. Tapos, PrEP, because you need to go back for you to access PrEP. And also, especially for testing, we test around 110 to 120 for each of our centers daily. And then suddenly, yes, zero. Pero what did we do? Diba? Unahin ko na yung program mo, the project that we started together, self-care. Because suddenly, HIV testing went to zero. I mean, we're handling two pandemics at the same time, and we can take for granted that people are still at risk for HIV. So it's very fortunate. I'll borrow the term from you. The silver lining of what happened is that we were able to introduce self-testing. And as much as it's just 1,700, we were able to test 95 who are positive. And it's really helpful because we were able to bring them to treatment. So that's one of the innovations that we had. So we had self-care. Unfortunately, we had to pause it because we're waiting for the new set of kits to come in. But hopefully by July, we will restart it again. And then we had express refill. So instead of people going to our centers, we had almost 4,900 who had their refills for at the comfort of their homes. We have, parang nga tayo nagkaroon ng, hindi ko alam pwedeng gumamit ng mga Grab, angkas. Kasi we literally had to borrow riders so that we can have them deliver the medications
the distribution.
To our clients. Yes, and it's really hard kasi during the time, it was ECQ pa. Ay, nakakaloka. Kasi
yes, of course.
We had all the paperworks na kailangan bring na client. Sometimes naharang pa ng, what do you call this, ng checkpoint. So, very challenging. But okay naman. And then for the checkups, we maximize the power of internet. Syempre, we did Icon, yung telemedicine natin. So we were able to serve 450 of them. And as much as it's a problem, it's an opportunity for us to innovate and get out of our comfort zones. Na maybe because it's going to be a temporary new normal, maybe as much as possible, we need to do something in order for us to adapt to the changes. Kasi our clients will be there. We have 7,000 people waiting for the support that we're providing. And we have 50,000 people for testing. And you know this, we opened community centers, 15 community centers all over the Philippines. And they're waiting for the guidelines and guidance from us on how they would do their outreach. So maganda naman siya. I mean, it's sad that there's an epidemic, pero a pandemic. But what's nice is that meron tayong nagawang innovation so that we can still serve our clientele.
Yes, the work doesn't stop. In other words, lumaban ka rin.
Correct. Tayo, Mars!
Yes,
and also, exactly. We started, next slide, we started yung flourish natin. Because as you know, di ba naalala mo na nag-chika tayo, I was talking about parang people in their homes and our clients, some of them taking medications that could have potential side effects na pwedeng mag-cause ng depression. So we wanted to, parang preventive ba? Wala pang nangyayari. We started a mental health program so that we can assist our fellow LGBTQIA+. Kasi ayoko iniiwan lagi yung A. Kasi sometimes,
of course,
diba, sa LGBT community, lagi na lang, LGBT. But I want to take this opportunity also to say na part ng community natin are the allies. So when we do services for our allies also. Ayun.
Yes, it's for everyone, for all of our mental health, physical health, and well-being. And that's really what the core of Love Yourself is about. It's about really allowing people to feel free and who they are, but also in looking after themselves. And that's why it's amazing that even though all of these challenges have come up to confront you guys, and also things with distribution, with being able to get in touch with your clientele, you've found ways to really address them pa rin, and you haven't left them behind. And that's why I want to segue to my next point is, why should we still keep talking about HIV? Because it is still, as you said, like we're facing two epidemics or two pandemics at the same time. And of course, one of the largest demographics of the new cases are aged, is it correct, 17 to 24? So when it comes to the youth, Mama Vin, what kind of conversation should we still be having? Because of course, a lot of us are secluded in our homes. We either have our family to turn to, or maybe we have our friends online. What kind of conversation should we be having to really keep talking about HIV, to normalize it, and then open up people to say, you still should be getting tested. kahit sa pandemic pa tayo, we should still be taking those steps to look after ourselves.
Mars, for me, we should start with talking about sex. Sex is a very big taboo in the Philippines. Na parang, ano yung sex? Basta may ganun na agad. Come on, sex is a physiologic need and we need to talk about it. Kasi in other countries, diba, elementary pa lang, they talk about sex education. Yes. Ang problema sa atin dito, there are certain schools na open-minded naman. Pero since we're predominantly Catholic, even if sometimes sa pag-uusapan sa schools, pag-uwi sa bahay, sasabihan ka na, we shouldn't talk about that, you're too young to talk about that. I think that's one of the biggest barriers that we need to break. Na we need to normalize sex. We need to...
Exactly.
I mean, hindi mo naman kailangan maging promiscuous. I'm not saying that the youth should be promiscuous.
No, but they should be equipped with the education to make the right decisions and to navigate it well.
Correct. And options, diba? Like what we're doing. We're giving options to people. If you're comfortable with condoms, you can use condoms. If not, there's always PrEP. Diba? And there are also other forms of sexual activities that will not put you at risk. But if people do not know that, how can they protect themselves?
Exactly. It's really equipping them with education. And with that, I just want to plug Love Yourself TV has a lot of educational films, resources that you could watch if you're looking for a place to learn about these certain topics. It's all there on the Love Yourself channels and also on their social media. But I wanted to also highlight, Mama Vin, if you could, the PLHIV community is even more so vulnerable during this time. What is something that we can do to help, or what kind of message can we give to really allow them to navigate this period with more comfort and more support?
Just like the campaign that we did together, the U equals U campaign, PLHIVs, as long as they're taking their medications daily and they're undetectable, they can live normally and healthy naman. And then they can abide with the same COVID prevention tools that people who are healthy, who do not have HIV, are using. Kasi once a person who's living with HIV is virally suppressed naman, he or she lives a normal life. And then you optimize na lang what we already have, the PPEs that you need to wear, you make sure that there's physical distancing, at the same time taking care of your mental health. Kasi that's one of the biggest things na that's taken for granted, especially at this time. As you can notice, napapadalas yung mental health posts natin kasi it's one of the things.
It's very important.
At saka there are many people losing their jobs right now, and a piece of optimism man lang, not toxic positivity, no? It's just parang a little push of optimism will go a long way. Ayun, so I think that's something na maibibigay natin for our PLHIVs.
Just that message that also they're not alone in going through this, no? And as you said, I really want to emphasize that point that life with HIV is not a life ended. It can be a life that is healthy and full-lived just like everyone else. U equals U. Undetectable equals untransferable.
Correct. And also, I'd like to thank Mars. I'd like to thank the other PLHIV organizations all over the Philippines. Because most people know Love Yourself, but what they don't know is that Love Yourself is powered by many community-based organizations also. So we have what we call champion community centers all over the Philippines who have been doing the same level or sometimes even more outreach sa pagdating sa HIV prevention, treatment, care, and support. And also PLHIV can access Twitter. Ang dami dun sa outer world na they can learn from, and support system. There's also the PLHIV Response Center and organizations such as the Red Ribbon who do interventions for people living with HIV. Kasi di ba tayo, what we do is prevention, but then we assist them with their treatment and we sustain their treatment. But it's still nice if there are people who have the same experience as you do, share their, parang how they adapted to certain situations. Kasi diba, it takes one to know one. Diba? And
yes, that's very true.
If I can share the experience to someone who is just starting the journey as a person living with HIV, napakalaking bagay kasi nun. So, there are support systems for our PLHIVs out there. There's super many help from the community. Google nyo lang, Facebook nyo lang, Twitter lang, it's there. All you need to do is reach out and people will help.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and there are so many different resources, community centers, community groups that, just as Mama Vin has been saying, that is really addressing the needs of the community even at this time. So we really encourage you to reach out to your community centers for any of your needs. You are not alone. You are supported. It's just there for you. You just need to choose to take it. And those of you who may be inquiring about the self-care testing kits, Mama Vin, do we have a date on when they'll be readily available ulit?
As per our supplier, it will arrive around July. So, next month.
So,
mga middle siguro. Kasi, yun yung problem ngayon, hindi masyadong reliable yung mga, ang tawag doon? Yan. Charot! Yung mga couriers.
Distribution,
Natatakot ako baka mag-mention ako, tapos mabasa lola mo.
Yung couriers.
Yeah.
Couriers. Yes, so that will be implemented in July. Anyone who's interested in getting a testing kit from the comfort of their own home, Self-Care provides that service. So do keep up with the Self-Care Facebook. Also Love Yourself Facebook and social media channels for more information on that. Mama Vin, do you have any other last message that you'd like to give to everyone who's tuned in right now?
Mars, I just want to promote our booking appointments because it's really hard for us to encourage people to walk in. So we do not allow walk-ins right now. So for our 7,100 clients, please make sure that you book in your appointments if you need to have yourself checked, and also make sure that you refill before 15 pills because it's really hard right now because erratic yung delivery. So if you have 15 pills or less, please make sure that you do your refills. So, ayan. Thank you, Mars.
Thank you, Mama Vin. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you for all the work that you continue to do for the community, for all the clients, and also for all the friends of the community.
Aww.
You are such an inspiring person, and you inspire many of us, including me. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to sa'yo lalo, no? Dahil for doing this. This is your first episode of many. So we're excited.
I know, Love Yourself TV. Thanks, Mama Vin. Thank you. I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you to everyone who has tuned in, who is still here with us this far into the program. We really appreciate that you've stuck with us to really listen in on the discussions, to take part in the learning, to take part in the conversation and the comments. Thank you so much. And we have a video that was played a little earlier, and we're going to replay it for you again. During these times that we've been talking about, during the pandemic, things can be or appear especially challenging, and many of us can feel isolated and alone. But to uplift our spirits, our Queenesso drag queens have prepared a message that everyone should definitely hear. Let's watch this.
COVID-19 has placed the world with you at a standstill.
We've put our plans on hold, lived apart from our loved ones, and some have stayed isolated.
Our natural affection towards each other, our belongingness in a loving community, and even our simple shared meals may feel like distant memories.
The safe spaces we've created for our community have become limited as well.
Because of these circumstances, it may seem that the color and joy in our lives have slowly faded away.
But amidst the physical distance, one truth remains for us members of the LGBTQIA+ community. We are still united in mind, heart, and spirit.
We may be unable to march the streets in solidarity and raise our voices in pride, but we can still celebrate each other's bravery that stands up for freedom.
And like the rainbow that comes out bright and proud, hope remains. We will weather this dark storm together and emerge in the multicolored lights of
Pink and our freedom to be who we are and love who we love.
red for our passion, strength, and fierce will to live despite the odds.
Orange for the healing of our nation and the world amidst this pandemic.
Yellow to remind us of the brightness and warmth of our community. Green to
Hey everyone, welcome back. We'd like to apologize that the video wasn't too clear, but this video will also be shared on the Love Yourself channel so that you guys can see it in full and really appreciate its beautiful message about diversity, courage, pride, and of course, love. And just like that, we're at our last segment of the show, and I'd like to welcome back all of our guests. Hi everyone. Thank you for sticking around through the show and also for taking part. But now this last segment, the tables are twisted a little bit because now you guys get to ask me questions. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Woo! Are you ready? We still got energy
for your second crowning.
Wow.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Oh, parang training ulit eh, no?
So,
right now.
For those that
So now,
don't know
kasi
who
diba-
are watching,
Oh.
Nicole was my Q&A mentor for Miss Universe.
And for those who don't know, she didn't need much help. Okay, Catriona, this is your question.
Wow.
So, everyone knows that you're writing a book now. Like you're gonna be a best-selling author soon. Wow, claiming it. So, if you're gonna write a book about the LGBTQIA plus community, what would the title be? And para ano yung mga characters na makikita namin sa book na yon? Like, how will you tell their story?
Ooh. I'll come back on the name, but it would be a collection of stories. It would be a collection of stories over different age groups, different life experiences, different things they've been through, and also in different positions in the community, whether it be career-centered or family-centered. I would love to tell stories that really show the spectrum of what so many in our community go through, but also kind of hint to the underlying tone that even though we differ so much, the foundation of respect and acceptance and love should still be there. The name of it? Ooh.
Let's ask people to comment down their proposed titles.
Yes.
And then
Comment below,
we can
or
pick which
maybe
one.
I do like As I Am.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Uy, grabe 30 seconds lang yun. Fairness.
Still got it, Char.
Yes.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay, next question.
Miss Catriona, may question tayo from our viewer. So, her name? Yes, ayan. So, meron siyang question. This is from Rhea Marinog. So, sabi nga, good evening, Kat. What will you advise and how will you respond to rumors if someone is gay? Also, how can we get others to be more open-minded about LGBTQIA plus people since may mga misconceptions about the community? Heart, heart.
Thank you, McCoy. I feel like it needs to start with addressing the rumor in seeing, is it positioned in a derogatory way that they're calling this person that, or is it because I find it an interesting predicament when people are trying to discern the information for themselves. Well, it should be up to the person themselves to come out as they are and how they want to be addressed, and not for other people to kind of discuss amongst themselves what and who they are. And the second question, sorry, was?
The second question was, how can we get others to be more open-minded about LGBTQIA plus people, since we have since some have misconceptions about the community.
Definitely, it's in representation. We talked about it earlier. Representation in the media, in the community, in the business sector, and also in leadership. I feel like for the community to feel seen and safe and protected, we also need to feel represented. So that's definitely important. And second would be to humanize the community. Really just touching on what is it like relationally, what is it like going through emotionally, what is the experience like? Because that's how we'll be able to connect and be able to empathize and also be able to relate. And I think that's a very important catalyst in being able to form a passion for wanting the same rights and the same opportunities for the community, that we see an aspect of ourselves in them. And I feel that comes from humanizing the community.
That's great.
Okay, ako naman meron akong question din from our audience.
Thank you.
Do you think we can create an LGBT-friendly sports clinic for young athletes?
We definitely should. I feel like it's going back to talking about safe spaces. Although there's nothing against the community using the existing sports clinics, but if in a way it allows them to feel safer to go to one that's specifically for the community, why not? I think that's what we should always endeavor to do, to create more safe spaces.
I agree with you, no. Tama yung safe space, but I also think na maganda rin to be with other people because again, we're looking at talent. We're looking at, not discriminating upon people. I think that's an important point to raise also.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And at the end of the day, it's giving the choice, no? But I do appreciate that you brought that up because it's true.
Ako naman, I have a simple question lang for you, sis. Pero alam ko naman kayang-kaya mo itong i-elaborate. So, as a drag queen, our wigs are our crowning glory. But I'd like to know, how would you design your own wig and what color would it be and why?
Ooh, this is cliche, but the first thing that popped into my head, I would want like a fiery red. I've even kahit sa mga games and stuff, like when you create your own avatar, I always make it myself with red hair. I don't know why, but it kind of suits for the lava kind of theme, no? So it would be red. Kasi eye-catching din siya.
We have another question, Kat, from our viewers, from Francis Capili. So she said, "Hello, Kat. Happy Pride. My question is, raised as a Christian, were you ever taught that homosexuality is wrong? And if yes, how did you unlearn that?"
Actually, I wasn't raised as a Christian. I went to Catholic schools growing up, but I didn't really develop my own sense of faith. Because for me, faith is relational. It's my relationship with God. And that means to me that everyone's different experience with their faith is different. It's unique. What I really needed to come to terms with was that I really believe as a Christian that many of our belief systems are built on the whole foundation of needing to love yourself, love your God, and love your neighbor. And I don't feel in my personal faith that religion should be an excuse to hate or to act indifferent to someone suffering or to turn a blind eye or to be an accomplice to making someone feel lesser than. Like, I don't feel that's what religion is to me. That's not what I believe in my faith. And so that's kind of the lens that I see the world even now. And I'm not here with my platform saying I'm the perfect Christian. And I know a lot of people will disagree with my views. But this is my personal opinion. And I really feel that if I can just do my best to treat people with love, then I'm going right by my faith. And that's what I believe.
Mars, ako naman.
Mama!
Madali lang to, Charot. So, if you were to open a community center na inspired by you, what do you want to name it and where do you want to put it?
Ooh. What would I want to name it? I don't know. Okay, wait. I would want it to be in Albay, in Bicol. It's a very sentimental place for me. It's where my mother was born, and also the Mayon volcano was the inspiration for my crowning look and everything. I would want it to be in Bicol. I've also heard that Bicol is an area that needs to be addressed when it comes to community concerns. The name of it, I don't know. Something to do with lava? Ewan ko.
And you lava
Suggestions
yourself.
or comments, please.
Love yourself.
Yes, lava yourself.
Lava yourself. But we'll see that kasi next year, di ba, we're exploring on creating new community centers and those areas na hindi pa natin nasuservan, hopefully we can do more.
Yes, we will. We will. Thanks, Mars.
Hi, Kat. I think this is our last question. This is from a viewer, Kim G. Bill. And I think it's a question that would encapsulate everything that we've been through tonight. So the question is, why is it important to celebrate Pride?
Oh, I think it's so important, but also not to separate it to once a month or like once in a year. It's something that should constantly be talked about and the conversation should be constantly moving. But Pride is important for visibility. I really feel like it's an opportunity to be really visible as the community and to really incite discussion and conversation of how far have we come? Why did it start? And what are we still fighting for? What are the solutions that we still need to find? And then it's also catering it for our communities because, of course, Pride started in the US, but all over the world, it has different evolutions and different challenges that the community faces depending on where it is in the world. And so that's why Pride is important because it should be an ongoing discussion. It's a celebration, but it's also because we're fighting for more than we have. Thank you so much, Carl. Is that my last question? Yes, I believe so. But I just want to take this opportunity. Thank you to each and every one of you for being a part of The Universe Speaks. It means so much. I've learned so much being able to hear all of your perspectives, your viewpoints, your experiences. And I really hope that everyone watching tonight has had the same opportunity to really learn from you, to look up to you all in the different spaces that you take up in the community, in your different careers, your different platforms. Just thank you for lending your voice to have not only celebratory Pride, but a very insightful one. So happy Pride, everyone. Continue to do the good work that you do.
Happy Pride, everybody watching.
Happy Pride. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.